We are on match point as PSG are about to move on even higher into the winner side of the bracket, currently standing 2-0 over J-Team. And what was such a closely fought game. Best performances so far that we have gotten from Rest, from Hana, but no Sakar just yet, as unfortunately they still aren't able to win that matchup. Before we go even deeper into the Game 3 possibilities, we have to give a warm thank you to our sponsors at CTBC Bank, China Airlines, Chonghua Telecom, and of course Caliber. Thank you for making the league possible. Now, Nightstar, we are on to potentially the final match here. J-Team have tried everything. They've gone late game, they've played tempo. Where do they go now?
They call up Maple, see if he wants to
the lower bracket?
Trade. Trade mission for
I'm
Maple?
PSG, I'm sorry, but I'm declining the trade. I'm sorry. That's
yeah,
I don't think that's
it
happening.
was
I really don't
rough
think that's happening.
game. Even with all the things that JT were able to do, it all came tumbling down once Mission gets caught out after that Elder Dragon. Even for all the things that they didn't do in the early mid game with utilizing the Ash Arrow to push tempo, constantly search for picks without flanking, it really just kind of culminated in the pick mid. And well, for the side of J-Team, it's not like the composition itself was bad, and I think that the coaching could possibly run it back, but I also feel that J-Team is just one of those teams that if it doesn't work like that, they will instantly go back to their tried and true.
Okay, so
which is a
tried and true for J-Team, which isn't gonna work. Can they at least ban Aphelios, maybe? Maybe, please, pretty please. I feel like you can let the Thresh go. I'm willing to open Thresh. I know Thresh is great from Kaiwing, but I would ban the Aphelios instead. See if they do that.
If you ban the Aphelios, well, then okay, there we go. They banned the Aphelios.
Then what?
I would assume they still go back onto the Renekton just because it's such a great champ. They could go. Renekton actually gets taken off. So
let's open here.
I mean,
Gwen's still up. Xin Zhao is still up. Those are probably the two biggest picks.
I would just go for the Thresh here.
Diana first pick? Thresh first pick is kind of weird, I would say, without Aphelios.
It is definitely weird.
It's a great takeaway. I'm not sure, like, getting Woody on Thresh is worth it, though.
It can also bail out Mission when he runs into issues, but here I think PSG just go for a Xin Thresh opening here with the Diana locked in and just really try and choke out this jungle matchup.
That seems like a really good draft sequence. I'm not sure Thresh is necessarily, but like it should still be very good with the Xin Zhao, I think. So J-Team, they are shifting more towards, I would say, like value drafting, Diana in. Still going to be the Varus coming out on one side. Probably the best AD carry overall, I would say, outside of Aphelios this patch. A lot of range potential, can snowball hard, opens you up to poke comp. Do like the draft here.
Yeah, a lot of...
today has not been a good day for River, which has been sort of weird.
And it will be that Xin locked in still, so... It's mostly about the early mid-game, at least from these first two picks from PSG. J-Team, I would assume that they go for something wonky here.
Lucian.
Maybe the Lucian, maybe the Jace. Thresh still up available. They could go ahead lock in something like an Ashe as well. But a very early Camille pick. This is, you know, kind of par for the course. A lot of priority has been put on Camille by these teams.
Yeah, and there aren't a lot of good answers from Hanabi's pool. Like, I'm pretty sure he's not going to play Fiora or Jax, so that does cut down on the pool quite significantly. Maybe the Gnar is left. I'm not a huge fan of Gnars. We've all talked about this one. It will be J-Team going for the double AD solo lanes with the Diana carry here. So a good bit of combo potential, good bit of catch, very strong
Leaves him
lanes.
pretty squishy though.
PSG, on the other hand, they have to. Yeah, that is true. You know, PSG do have a great chance to burst targets down, and LeBlanc would be a great pickup for this.
Yeah, and a lot of early mid-game power still coming in from PSG. It's a little bit more split on the side of J Team, and definitely leaning towards the scaling factor. Mid and late game is where they're really targeting with this draft, and PSG, they're going to have a lot of power to override J Team early on. They'll go ahead, ban away the Ezreal, probably ban away the Ashe as well. Take away some of the safety picks for Lil V as he tries to just neutralize the matchup and not get picked off, but still there's plenty of pick off potential even in that 1v1.
Yeah, in the meantime, J Team try to figure out what to ban away from the top lane here. There's too many supports open, so I don't think they would throw support bans. Maybe the Thresh.
Yep.
I'm not even sure Thresh is that
take
strong.
away the Thresh.
True. They are going to start with the Kennen, however, which has been a very decent, safe pick into the top side. And meanwhile, PSG contemplated maybe it is that Ashe, like you talked about. We also have Lil V playing Jhin and Sivir into the Varus, so a lot of different options. They will take away the Ashe. Good call. J Team contemplating about the Thresh. Are you going to give Kaiwing his best champ?
Yeah.
Well, his best champ is technically Leona, but Thresh is very high up there as well.
Yeah, there's just a lot more that you are able to do with the Thresh pick, and it fits scenarios. It pretty much fits every scenario there, and this time they actually go ahead, take away the Leona, leave up the Thresh. Could be Thresh, could be Nautilus coming in from Kaiwing. That's kind of just been the story. They could also save last pick here for Kaiwing if he wants to go for a Bard, because again,
that'd be fun.
You would assume that you'd see something like a you're gonna see an AD carry coming in from Lil V, and perhaps Woody gets stuck in a trap of picking Braum for disengage, which would be a massive mistake here, where you'd just be able to Giga Punish with that Bard pick.
True. Oof. I like the setup you have. Like, Braum plus Lucian's actually a very strong dueling core, but because of that Bard, they might have to go for something else here. I do like the Rakan in terms of like a cannonball composition, but it will still be Braum in the very end. And you called it. It could be that Bard. I think this is much more of a composition that PSG usually runs in the regular season, just full tempo. And this is the first time they actually had mid-jungle priority over J Team. Like in the previous two drafts, it was Diana and Diego for River. So he didn't really show up at all in the early game.
It will be Xayah. So yet another champion. Okay. All right. If they lock in the Jhin, that
Jhin's
helps out. Yeah, this helps out the draft considerably. If you take the Xayah here, you're pretty much stuck waiting for 25 minutes. And on the flip side,
yeah, it's Bard. It's Bard.
Yuumi is a fine punish as well. Like, you're going to be able to freely scale into the Braum, but the Bard pick just fits so perfectly. It's such an easy punish.
Oh, I guess we're all wrong. Kaiwing outwitted us all.
All right. He goes for the Rakan. It's not going to have the same power as the Bard, being able to non-stop roam and punish. Of course, this double 80 carry backline here. But again, it's just one of those picks that you're able to kind of freely scale on because it is a Braum in that bottom lane, being a bit of a hybrid enchanter, melee support engaged sort of champion. Kaiwing should have a relatively good time, and PSG, they get pretty much everything that they want.
Do want to ask you about the Rakan pick at the very end, because like you talked about the free scaling, but I feel like Bard is works so much better here. Like, you think
Bard is definitely infinitely better. I will not fight you on that one.
The Cosmic Binding is a great counter to something like Stand Behind Me, and Just
Exactly.
the way you look at the map, it's clearly more of an overload map, and like you can take away the tower, so free dives all day long. Now we're gonna go for a recon at the very end. Take a look at the compositions here. J Team, I do like this draft a lot. It's strong lanes, a very good wombo combos, distance for the back line, everything they really want and play around with. Well, PSG on the other hand, finally they are gonna get jungle mid priority, and this has been their most deadly weapon, just being able to gank and tower dive these side lanes. Hanabi on something safe, unified, still on an S tier 80 carry, all things said and done. And then Kaiwing on this interesting recon pick. Not sure how he's going to utilize it in this composition, but we'll find out as we head on to potentially the last game of the day. J-Team struggling to stay on the upper side of the bracket, while PSG wanting to make this 21-0 on the split.
Looking for the 21-0 here. Would be a good start, and perhaps the perfect playoff dream would then continue and live on. However, J-Team did put them to the grinder in game number 2, so things aren't all said and done quite yet, but the collapse onto Rest, he's in big trouble.
Early flash having to be expended here by Rest. A 3-man wraparound coming in, and unfortunately for Rest, he wasn't able to back out in time through the river, gets caught out. That's massive for Hanabi. Early level, there's actually a pretty decent chance that Hanabi could just chase down this Camille and kill him.
Yeah, thankfully Rest did go for the flash instead of the teleport ignite for the kill pressure. And, I mean, clearly, even with that ward down onto that blue buff, River's just going to go straight to blue, because he wants to finish topside, get that extra little bit of space for Hanabi there in the 1v1 matchup.
Exactly. We'll make Rest's life so incredibly difficult knowing that the Xin Zhao is going to be pathing towards him. We have a leash from both sides of the bot lane. And just talking about the Jin starts, this is pretty typical from what we have seen, just full sustained build earlier on. Getting the boots, extra chase down, extra chances to get that 4th shot to land as well. It's pretty much the only 80 carry to do this, but has been very effective with the build as we see Lil V opening up. 2 shots away from 4th shot. Final one does get the poke in. Guardian from Kaiwing does keep Unified alive, but that's a very good trade from J-Team.
And actually going for the heal instead of cleanse here could prove to be detrimental for Unified, as he does take a pretty bad trade. It does set things up for J-Team to get level 2 pretty comfortably, as that does happen. And Rest able to, well, he's able to hold this wave here. That bodes well for him to get through the first 5 minutes of the game, since he is down a flash, and Hana is also kind of hovering top side to perhaps help him out if he's under threat of a dive, and River will be spotted on that Raptor War. But of course, he's not concerned with contesting top crab. He's going straight down butt.
Yeah, we do have Hana with the pathing change here, not going for the Krugs earlier on, saving it and making sure he clears out on the top side. Now, I've been really impressed with Hana this series so far. Like, his tower dives have been clean with the with the Xin Zhao and the Talon strikes. You know, he's avoiding danger on Diana. Really, Hana has been kind of the standout player on the side for J-Team. In the meantime, though, Rest is left to his own devices. A 3v1 coming in without the flash on the Camille. But we also have a teleport in turn from Mission, so the play will fizzle out. Let's see if PSG try to cut off Lucian from going back to his own base. I also want to point out that this time around we do have Mission going for the area instead of press the attack. A bit rare of a rune choice for the Lucian.
Yeah, this is one of those rune choices where you're looking to try and poke a little bit more with the W coming in from the Lucian, and not overly reliant on auto attack trades. Also means that you are looking to go for the Eclipse build to play more around your ultimate rather than your auto attacks with something like a Gale Force to trade aggressively, get that PTA stacked up in those situations, and it's going to be trying to utilize your range, especially against LeBlanc. It makes a little bit of sense, but at the same time, you know, Unified also has some pretty good range to match.
It's a pretty ridiculous start for Diana. She's 2 camps up plus a back. Definitely don't expect that most of the time in Xin Zhao matchups, so very powerful here. Lil V going up once again onto Unified. There's already 2 stacks of the Winner's Bite. Concussive blows onto him. Just forces PSG to back over and over again, and this has been one of the more successful counters we have seen to the Varus, just outranging him with the Jhin here.
Yeah, and just being able to get the extra sustain has proved to be the difference here for Unified in this lane, as they just keep taking these trades, and this is probably the best look J-Team has had in that bottom lane. It's been a really rough go of it for Lil V, even in game number 2 where they did have CS leads. It still wasn't great. Or it was game 1 where they had CS leads all across the board. Even then, it didn't end up paying off very well. And now River, off his recall, will be looking for some sort of play. And so far, like, Hana's just played this matchup so damn well. And the fact that he's been able to dodge out on River non-stop hasn't given the gank pathing or just the jungle 1v1 opportunities to River. Yes, he's going to have to concede this crab, but he's been very safely ramping up.
Yeah, I think Hana is going to hit 6 before River, and that does open up that bot lane for a potential great engage coming in here, as we do see PSG trying to catch Little V on the back. They don't manage to do so. Hana still half his XP bar away from level 6. Should mean after the red buff he gets it. We'll see if he starts to find some ganks somewhere. That's usually when you see the Dianas can really pop off. And if you got acceleration into Hexpack Rocket Belt, it's just so good for the team fights later on, as River will try to match here, going into the bot side.
Looking to perhaps start out this dragon here. And more importantly, find a catch. Kaiwing is in the vicinity as well, so they're really just waiting for a pick to happen, trying to capitalize on mission.
Ooh, Hana walking through the ward, does get caught out here. No level 6, exhaust goes down, and first blood still goes over. Very unfortunate for Hana. Bottom lane was pushed up, and Kaiwing was missing for quite a while, and that's just the spider senses from PSG. They know so well where Hana is going to path through.
And Hana just can't escape from PSG that long, as eventually he's been able to avoid River the entire time, but the first time he sees him, he's instantly just dead. Now red buff will go into the hands of Kaiwing. He's going to have a little bit more trade power. I don't know how well he's going to be using it, to be honest, though, as Luvi and Woody have been doing very well in these trades themselves. And I mean, the big key thing is Rest is able to get out of a very dire situation at the start, and now he gets to kind of play the game once more. But Hana,
we have a flash in from Hana. The stun will land from Hookshot. Hextech ultimatum goes down, and
River's
they
here.
do find Hanabi. But River is here to pick up the pieces. That's 1 kill to him. Can Hana get out? Oh, he does get across the wall. Goes back in for the trade, and Mission will find the kill back. Hana, the hero of J-Team, finds his redemption against the top side.
And Hana comes online with this Diana pick. You can see why they put so much priority on it, because of just how much team fight power it is for their squad. Also gives them a very good scaling champion. And I mean, River does a pretty good job in this execution, but unfortunately doesn't position himself well enough to get that blast code over the wall that would have given him the opportunity to finish off Hana in that isolation spot and prevent Mission from following up without burning that flash. And now, well, a good response coming in from J-Team, but PSG still have a response of their own, turning on towards this Rift Herald. No intervention coming in from these bot lanes quite yet, but both supports running straight up the river.
Crucially, the ults are all still down from J-Team. They use 3 ults here. PSG are much less reliant on ultimate abilities.
Cooldowns are shorter,
and they just catch out Mission. That's so easy. What? Oh, he's dead.
Oh, he's still alive.
Oh, he's dead.
Okay, he will go down. And yeah, it's just a slaughter.
What? Rest goes down too, so it's a 3 for 0, and my brain has a lot of problems just watching this as Lil V tries to take a 5v1 underneath his own tower. Wasn't PSG in full vision? Like, huh. Yeah, I'm pretty sure J-Team knew that they were all around the corner, but somehow Mission still gets caught.
Mission hasn't had a great series. I think we can all agree on that one.
Yeah, they walked straight through mid. They didn't do anything sneaky. They just walked straight through mid lane, and Mission still gets caught out here. Oh. It's been rough. It's been incredibly rough for Mission, honestly.
Yeah, Mission. It's not been his series, and Lil V even expending the ultimate there, so that's a big cooldown removed. And PSG, you just can't give PSG this much room, because now all of a sudden they're just all over the map. You can't ever face check even your own bush. It's just so difficult to play, and now they're stuck in. The only opportunity they have is just try and punish Hanabi.
Looks like Hana does get the steal though, so let's see if he can get Hanabi low, then drop the Herald. They are going to drop the Herald regardless, very interesting enough, and Hanabi's just getting out of here. He's like, well, I think I've got a better chance of just dragging this out, walking towards the other side of the map. There's question mark pings coming in from J-Team. Hanabi, he's looking for the one-on-one trade with Mission, but it's not going to happen as we have the tactical sweep just taken down. On the meantime, PSG are trading in the bottom side, though. They don't have the Herald, crucially. So J-Team, most likely still going to get the first tower. I have been wrong on this before. We'll see if PSG can do this a little bit faster. It's going to come down extremely close. Less than 5 seconds difference. Hana, work on the tower, work on the tower. Yeah, you can't turn for the minion. And they do at least find it. Lil V, look at Lil V. He's so relieved right there. He's like, guys, work on the tower, please.
They get a small advantage in that regard, but Clement, look at the gold lead. It's still 2,000 gold lead for PSG, even though they only have a 2-kill advantage. It just comes from the advantage they got from burning that flash on the Camille matchup and having the 25 CS lead for Hanabi. So even though Hanabi has been put under fire just recently with that dive attempt up top lane, he survives. He doesn't lose anything off of it. He died, but like the Camille didn't gain anything out of it. Yes, he gets a kill, but he's still super far down. And all across the board, it's just, this was supposed to be a bit more of a lane kingdom centric draft, or at least being able to stand up better in the lanes. It hasn't really reflected in the gold league.
That's true. I will say though, it pretty much was just that big team fight blunder from J-Team though. Like, I actually felt like the laning phase and everything outside of the level 1 were kind of okay. It's just unfortunate that PSG to find such a great lead on Herald. And we can see like the way the two teams trade is J-Team, they funnel their gold towards Hana and they funnel their gold towards Rest. In the meantime, PSG are all about that cash on Unified. Honestly, no one else matters. It's just like, if Unified gets the 3 items, they'll carry us through the game. That's a confidence level that PSG has with their AD carry.
Yeah. It's just knowing that there's such a stark difference in that bottom lane too, especially with the carry potential. Jin, you don't really factor in as a big carry player until he hits 4 or 5 items. That point in the game, you know, PSG aren't really targeting, or typically aren't targeting for that time frame in the game, and even then Varus, he's going to be a lot faster with his items because of the more economical lethality build.
Yep. We do have typically Jin's going for the Gal forces we have seen, and like you mentioned, scales really well with crit, attack speed, everything. And Jin in general is just a very well scaling champion. And once again, PSG are just going to try and overload on the map. They are trading for the bottom side, and River is reminding Mission of Mad Gaming for some reason. Maybe he's trying to ask Mission if he is mad or not. Maybe I'm reading the emotes wrong. That could also be a message.
He's asking if he's a mad gamer.
You mad, bro? Good content.
That's probably one of the next emotes.
Completely fine. Oh, okay.
Maybe hinting at one of the next.
Which emote needs to go out of
emotes.
rotation? I feel like the husky crying in a pool of his own tears is probably the one to go. Like the scream is just way too good.
Yeah.
So that's gonna
actually
stay
overpowered.
forever. I think. Yeah, that one's like the best. Like if you're not purchasing that emote, like what are you even doing in the PCS? You have to get in with the times. So Nabi is gonna get his first evolve for the cannon barrage. See which one he goes for. Like I think like most of the time it just goes for oh, yep. Let's see which one. Full control for PSG in this river side, and they have double pinks on 2 crucial wards. So it seems like J-Team are actually just going to go on the scaling route here. They're not in position to contest, and if we look at the pings, it looks like they're going to try and trade double towers for it. Mission could be in trouble. The quickness comes in. They do find him. Mission still has the flash, though, but still does die in the end. We have an opening up by Jin, but that's not going to go through the Crescent's guard. Woody flashes in and doesn't hit anyone here. We'll see if Ras can find a comeback kill. Kaiwing, he's got nowhere to go.
Ras
Now,
doing
we'll
well
make it
for
a
himself,
4v4 on this bottom side, but PSG still have the first jump advantage. Could be the barrel charge coming down. They do find 2 with that beautiful play. Hana with the moonfall, but pitiful amounts of damage. Oh, he does get the kill with the Crescent Strike. And Rest gets out. Wow. Amazing play from the top side of J-Team.
Yeah, J-Team able to execute well around that fight. However, it should still be Dragon going in favor of PSG. So while it was a well-executed fight, it doesn't change the fact that they are still 1.5k gold down, and Mission just picked off once more here. Oh man, it's been tough for the man, and it doesn't get much better, especially against the LeBlanc, when now LeBlanc just has all the advantages. Rest will be able to get himself one more kill though, and like Rest, he's really the hope for J-Team here, and just getting strong enough and be able to really threaten these side lanes, allow him to be the main carry here, facilitate around him, and hopefully he gets that lane shoved in, and then he's able to make a collapse happen and swing the fight that way.
Yeah, I do think Rest can be huge in the late game. There's not a lot of tanky members on PSG. A true damage from Precision Protocol is just gonna... It could just take 60% of your HP in just like one hit. So it's definitely something to play for.
Yeah, he's just going to be an AD assassin, similar to what Maple is going to be doing for his team. Like, there aren't exactly very bulky members over on the side of J-Team as well. So these fights are going to happen quick, and they're going to be very, very explosive.
Yeah, to me, whenever we have these situations, it's always about who can get the better first hit in. When you're in a knife fight, HP doesn't matter. Just go in, blow up the other team. And, you know, Hana's been doing a great job. Rest has been as well. So, still a lot of possibility for them to come back into this one. But they will have to start fighting at these Drakes. Already 2 Drakes to PSG. I think that's going to be the critical point. In the meantime, PSG just happy to overload once again. And they've been doing this so beautifully and consistently throughout this entire game. Just shifting towards the top side, getting catches. Hana not going to pull the trigger on the Moonfall. And Kaiwing and River will just get out.
Clement, it's going to be a Mountain Rift, and when we talk about burst potential, This is probably the best option to try and negate some of that, but still plenty of damage.
That's the true damage we were talking about. As Hanabi does get help. The slowdown does connect, so it's going to be hard for Rest to get out of this one. He actually goes back in and try to wait it out. Mission is now on the scene. Can he help him out? Maple goes down, and they get the turnaround in the 2v1.
Mission gets his revenge finally at last. Some sweet, sweet revenge. Hana on the flip side is just on a solo mission. He's also just getting so much gold funneled into himself here as he gets solo turret gold there. As we get to see the replay in this bottom lane, teleports coming in from both of the mid laners.
Diana could be in trouble here.
Oh, okay.
Look at the bottom side. Yeah, it looks like Diana's just dead, but that's
Hana's dead.
Still go okay. That's an inhibitor tower for himself.
It gets the inhib tower. He also, like, that's actually a massive gold infusion for Hana personally, and it helps out the fact that his jungle is just being farmed by the rest of his team. So he's not able to get access to gold at the moment, so having the extra tower gold is going to help considerably.
Yeah, and it does mean that if J-Team win a team fight, they can just go straight for inhibitor. It does open up that possibility to drag the map out into a different state. As we will take another look at the items right here. It is just looks like Jin going for the RFC. Diana knows not much for her to do at this point. Can't get away, low mana. We'll just fall down, but still a worthy sacrifice as J-Team members do pick up a lot of farm in that.
And the big thing is, if they win a team fight right after taking Baron, with the ensuing Baron empowered minions, they could just end the game potentially, even at a pretty low game timer at like 25 minutes. However, the next objective isn't going to be the Baron, it's most likely going to be that Mountain Dragon in 90 seconds. So J-Team, you know, you could try and make a Dragon for Baron trade here because of the fact that it is sort of a late Dragon, or it's been late stacking, and that means you can make that trade.
Ooh, Lily takes half his HP from a poke by Unified, and I do want to go back to that point. I do agree with that. That's a very strong trade on the map, and if you look at J-Team, they do have great single target burst damage, so it's not easy to face check against this whatsoever. Like, it's very possible to just go into the river, step on a trap, and then get captivated audience and just blown up. So I do want to see J-Team try for that. This has always been sort of their weakness, is that they don't push tempo fast enough a lot of times, and you know, like even though they can play a late game, I do think what you've mentioned is a super viable strategy. Though it does put a lot of pressure on yourself if you're staring down the barrel of a Dragon Soul, though.
Hey, you just gotta tell yourself.
I still think they're gonna go for it, though.
We also had Mountain Soul, and we lost. So even if we give PSG Mountain Soul, we can still win.
That is some high amount of copium. I don't know what to tell you, but I don't think any team thinks like that. The copium levels are through the roof right there. J-Team, it looks like they're still going to contest. They're not going to go for the ballsy Baron play, and I sort of have to agree, especially against Cannon Broad. It does make it a bit difficult.
But
so
now
we are going to go straight
chokes.
into the team fight phase. That's true. I like their wraparound, though. Like, on this side, this is a
We've seen this formation numerous times.
Has consistently gotten this smite. It definitely has happened. Maple blocks out on is blocked out by Woody. Now it's gonna be a snipe fight. Bahana's a little bit further away. Wow, a 3-man poke coming in from Unified, taking away about 1,000 HP, and in comes the engage. Kaiwing lands on the floor. Maple with the double step, and J-Team are just obliterated. No one left alive. Rest is still here. He's trying to get out. Hextech ultimatum past the wall, but he's still getting chased down into double kill over to Varus. The last one standing is Woody, and he's gonna turn tails and run. As J-Team, they were very close, but they allowed PSG to start the fight on their terms, and they were absolutely destroyed.
It really just was, once that Dragon reset, it was doomed for J-Team. They eat the arrow because they end up getting pulled towards the dragon as it reset there. And the damage coming out at this point in the game for this Varus is just too much. They're going to start out Baron, but it does look like the response is slowly but surely kind of coming. They should be able to finish this, but can they get out?
Yeah, mission is going to get opened up onto, but the chains do not land, and J-Team are starting to come back into this one. Hana from the other side gets a 3-man pull onto the Moonfall. He wipes Skywing, and finally Unified is dead. Hana is not going to let J-Team's hopes and dreams get dashed. He comes in with a massive Moonfall, triple kill, only 2 members with the Baron, and J-Team are fighting for survival.
J-Team, they find the fight. Unfortunately, they don't get the Baron. PSG, they still come out ahead with the gold trade. But important members are able to be taken down. They get the shutdown onto Unified. We get to see the replay. Rest with a well-timed stopwatch. And that buys enough time to set things up for Hana with that 4-man Moonfall and salvages J-Team's possibilities of continuing their upper bracket run.
This is beautiful stuff from Hana. He got so much gold with the solo Herald drop into the top lane. 2 towers and all local gold going his way. He's already 3 items at this point. And this is a squishy comp from PSG. They could just got all blown up. Now, Maple is on a bit of an assassination mission, but he is found out by Hana. Last person you want to face at this point. And look at Rest. He's completely unopposed in the top side. PSG are actually forced to find something here.
Yeah, they're forced to try and make a play because, again, that top side is an exposed in him. And that's why we were talking about perhaps the Baron trade. But even without the Baron, with how strong this Camille pick is still, now completed those 2 items, has the extra sustain, so they're not really losing in these extended trades, as you are able to just reset.
It seems Chains of Corruption already being used. We do have Hana getting stunned down. Cannon Barrage also coming in.
They can't chase though.
Is here, and Maple's a little bit slow to this one. Yeah, very interesting. I don't think J-Team will stay around for this. I don't see how they actually managed to get the catch, but PSG are still going to try, and now we have River being opened up. Crescent Guard does block most of the damage, though. No harm really being done. And in comes Maple with the chains. Kaiwing on the finish. Gets a 2-man knockup. That's going to be mission going down once again. Rest can't do anything on the side. And PSG are going to open up the base. Lil V, Woody, Hana, they're all so low. They can't defend. They have to go back to Fountain.
Baron minions here. That means they can continue to push. Minions. The next wave is a little bit far, but they will be a takedown at Inhib Tower and look to break that Inhib. So mid Inhib taken down, and with 80 seconds for that next dragon, PSG will look to reset here. Take away a couple of these camps, take away some of that vision, reset, and then look to come back, secure that Dragon Soul, perhaps secure this series in a 3-0 fashion. Maple even able to recall and clear out this wave, stopping the push from Rest, and things really starting to fizzle out here from the side of J-Team. They're really searching for the plays, but once more, mission caught out. 1-4-4. He started out this series deathless, and well,
he died a lot of times afterwards.
Yeah, that trend hasn't stayed true.
It was really good target selection from Kaiwing, the only member without the flash in that team fight outside of Reston. There was a mission, so they do find him with the quickness, I believe, and just take him down. PSG now, with a pretty commanding gold lead, are just going to rush forward into this team fight. They don't mind the poke coming in from J-Team anymore. Let's see if Hana can get another 4-man to swing things around in their favor. Very similar positioning to the last team fights here. And we've saw, again, if you allow J-Team to start the fight, they will just finish it. A lot of poke again from Unified, and
They're
J-Team
trapped. They have no back.
Yeah, Rest is trying to go onto the backside of the fight. Lil V opening up, but Rest just gets decimated. River using the Crescent Guard to knock everyone back, and the barrel chain will land onto Woody. The full chase in is through. Kyrie does manage to find 2 on the back line. Hana going in, but there are
no
Zanyas. He can't get any kills. Hana just falls down and dies. Mission alone with Lil V. Oh, Kaiwing nearly dies. Lil V tries to use a point-blank curtain call. Could have just used some auto attacks there. He still had the bullets.
They're just going to go and end.
Yeah.
Teleport's already coming through.
Hanabi already chasing down into the mid lane. There's nowhere for Lil V to go.
Yeah, he's got no escape here. He just has to kind of fight his way out of here.
Maple does make it in, but misses the chain, so Lil V will stay alive. Takes 800 damage from Unified. But I think that's enough. I think J-Team will hold on.
Oh, I mean, they had super streaming in the mid lane, but it just wasn't fast enough. So the side of PSG, they aren't able to straight up end the game. But you saw the poke coming in, but more importantly, the flank angles. The side of J-Team at this point with this Camille pick, they're the ones that should be looking for the flank, but they aren't able to set it up. And yeah, again, J-Team, they just play too honestly. They line up straight in front of you. They don't look for angles with this Diana pick, and it makes it so easy to deal with. You're not constantly looking over the shoulder to see if a 4-man moonfall is on the horizon.
Seems like J-Team didn't really know how to take that fight. Like, I actually would have been okay if they just all funneled in the Drake pit and then like try to fight one direction out of it, but no, it was definitely a very difficult situation for them. Unified's hurting a lot more at this point. They don't have the range advantage. They should be using the split push to get a lead, but they didn't really set it up as so. And now PSG are uncontested on this Drake. There is a TP from Rest. Doesn't look like he's going to be fast enough to change any of this. As Kaiwing is now chasing in, Cannon Barrage going down, Maple getting the distort onto 2, Mission opening up, finds some great damage onto Kaiwing, but it's not going to be enough to save Hana, and Rest on the back end has to get away from this. There is a Sorelio's Grudge on Hanabi, he's going to be able to slow people down. Meanwhile, in the flip side, Lil V trying to keep everyone posted. Oh, they do save Rest though. It's at least a small consolation prize.
They are able to get Rest out of there, which, I mean, they're going to need every single member they can get in order to save this game, to salvage this game. We have 4 items now completed on Unified. These arrows hit like trucks. The Mission takes one to the knee. And Rest, he's just trying to save the game now.
Rest is going in with the Hextech Ultimatum, but instantly has to go out as Maple pops the Zanya. It's just a massive amount of damage difference right now. Lil V walking up, can't find the target. All eyes on Hana at this point from the side of J-Team. But the Crescent Guard has already been used by River, so there is an opening potentially for Hana. Let's see if he can use the Moonfall and catch out the backline. Most important members. Well, there's a lot of important members right now. He's going to have to get a multi-man Moonfall if J-Team are going to survive this onslaught. Inhibitor comes back out. Soon going to fall right back down as River is unrelenting on the objective play here. A lot of low mana bars, though, for PSG.
But Unified has blue buff.
Yeah. It does look like they will still retreat at the very end and just give it another go.
Yeah, and now here's the difficult part for the side of J-Team. Hana has to find a 4-man Moonfall, but he doesn't have the Void Staff. So his burst potential is that much less impactful because of the Mountain Soul that's already stacked up.
He could be in danger. Maple, when will he show himself? There he goes. One distort, and goodbye, Lil V. It was good knowing you.
80 carries walking that far out by themselves. Definitely a big trap.
That was a bit sus. To say the very least.
Definitely a tragic move there. And fortunately for him, it's not going to be super costly, as it's not like PSG are going to straight up end the game, but it is still a 20 seconds left where PSG are going to have a bit of a power play here. And they're just going to look to try and siege down bottom lane while supers are shoving top and mid.
Goes back in, forces out the Hextech Ultimatum. We have the cannon going in, and Rest is just dead. Rest playing a little bit too far forward, getting caught out here. PSG still want to continue with the team fighting. We have the Chains of Corruption going in, but most JT members are able to get back. Hana goes in for the 3-man, but dies before the second proc can actually come out, and Unified has massive damage into the fountain. J-Team are ace in front of their Nexus, and their hopes and dreams are dashed. PSG stand tall, they stand undefeated, and they are moving on.
PSG, as expected, get the 3-0 series score. However, how it happened was definitely not to the expectations of many analysts and fans watching the PCS, as they were heavily tested in game number 2. But game number 3, it was really never in question. All of the lanes performed very well, up to standard. And Rest, even though he was able to salvage his lane and get leads later on, unfortunately he was the only one that was able to find leads for himself, barring Hana. But Hana, as a jungler, just couldn't find enough impact in the later game teamfights, especially after Mountain Soul went down.
Yeah, the burst damage just wasn't coming through at that point anymore, and unfortunately PSG do improve to 10-0 against J-Team through the year. This has not been a great matchup for the side of J-Team. I do want to give props to Hana. Like, once again, I felt like Hana was actually the better jungle throughout this series, which is not something that I thought I would ever say. I honestly did not expect this out of Hana. Great performances, great early pathing. But once again, I feel like PSG were just on another level in terms of what they wanted to do in the mid game. Like, J-Team, I felt like a lot of their team fights were actually very poorly choreographed. They didn't seem like they had a very clear picture on what they wanted to accomplish at all.
It seems like J-Team are still kind of learning how to play the game in some ways, and a lot of the times they did get out of these games with victories by either overpowering through skill gap, such as the lower teams, or just slogging it out, drawing the games out to the late game and hoping that the other team does make a fatal mistake, as we saw in the Boom series.
Yeah, throughout this entire series, it has always been PSG that were the proactive side. We have saw so little action that J-Team actually tried to start themselves, and I kind of doubt if they know how to set up great offensive plays, or are they just kind of set in their ways of playing for the late game. Kaiwing is going to take the MVP with a great performance on the recon. Lots of catches here. He did catch out Mission multiple times just in those brushes around the corner. I think the first 2 team fights were started by Kaiwing just picking off Mission, and that just gave them the free objectives to start things off. So great play here coming in from the support.
It was the last pick for Kaiwing, as expected. This is probably the only team in PCS that will save counter pick for their support. And even on the international stage, you know that PSG are willing to leave the possibility of a Bard or of a Recon for Kaiwing, just to really allow him to flex in some of these fights there. And he shows why he gets counter pick.
Yeah, that's just beautiful stuff coming out from the entire PSG squad. I do want to say that PSG, I do feel like they were slightly tested this time around. It does seem like if you draft pure tempo, you can still take the early game against PSG. That is what I've learned from this series, and I hope to see other teams try to emulate this. On the flip side, we've also seen that PSG are just such an overall talented team that even if they lose the early game, they still have Unified, and yeah, Unified. That's like, the Unified is actually just a win condition in itself. It doesn't really have to do with any composition. It's just like Unified. His Varus did so much damage. I didn't get how much damage was that Varus doing. I don't think I've seen a Varus hit that hard. It was like half HP every single arrow.
I mean,
I don't know what's wrong with him.
He was just launching. It wasn't even like a bow and arrow. It was pretty much
like
those
a catapult or
something. Lobbing those cannonballs.
You know those Tau missiles they use like in all our endless wars from America? It's just like, it's 100k, 100,000 per missile, and then you just shoots them off willy-nilly. It's so disgusting to see this from Unified, and man, you need to be able to match the breadth from PSG. But that will be all for the series. After this break, we will come back with an interview from Reiwerchu.